All right. Say something funny, man.
Oh
Do
my
comedy.
gosh.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, good point.
Now the heat's on.
Now the
It's not
heat's
so
on.
easy to just get started, is it? Huh?
I don't necessarily have anything funny to say, but
How dare you.
I did have an interesting experience. I'm remembering why I stopped doing social media. I tell you that much. I realize now. I remember the reasons why I stopped.
Okay. Is this funny?
No.
Is this? Oh, this is gonna be.
Man, they'll just let anybody have an Instagram account, huh? They'll just let anybody on there.
Yeah. What happened to you? Who hurt you?
It's not. Nobody,
Find out more when we start the episode. Welcome to The Crunch, the only podcast that gets its feelings hurt on Instagram. It's your boy, Ethan.
I'm Patrick. All we feelings.
We get the people that mean to us on Instagram.
Yeah, people need to stop being so mean to us on the internet. That maybe we'll actually have fun.
Oh, man. I keep thinking that I'm going to log on and everyone's going to be nice and kind and charitable
Yeah.
and understanding of my positions and
Mhm.
opinions. But
Oh, no.
instead, they call me names.
I had a funny experience this week.
Did you?
Yeah. Someone,
My name's Ethan.
and I'm Patrick. We already did that.
Did we?
Yeah.
I don't think we did.
Dude, it's too late. We shouldn't be recording
I
this
know.
late. We're fathers
It's past our bedtime.
now. We are somebody's father together, collectively.
Oh yeah. Yes, you and me, we've and it's this show and it's the audience and these are our children and they are and you have to pay child support, which is at patreon.com/thecrunch.
Child support refers to the children supporting their parents. That's what you have to pay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
If
someone
we paid them, it would be called father support.
obviously. So someone responded to one of my reels. I'm getting concerned. Do you have an undergraduate degree? Because I'm getting the feeling that you don't. Did you see that?
No, I didn't, but I can see how someone would think that you'd have an undergraduate degree.
No. He thought I had. He was asking if I had a degree at all. Like
He thought you were uneducated.
He thought I had no. He thought I stopped in high school. Is what he thought. And the American
you do
education
have that
system.
vibe about you.
Yeah. Do I?
The gold chain
Is
kind
that-
of betrays.
Yeah. The gold chain is like, oh, this guy.
It gives kind of like a I'm from Long Island and I could have gone to Rutgers but I didn't type vibe.
Is that the vibe that it gives?
That is the vibe.
No, it's not. What are you talking about?
I don't know where Rutgers is. It could be anywhere.
I could have gone to Rutgers. The guy is Rutgers an online university? It has that. I feel like that's what it is. You know.
It's one of those. It's like ITT Technical Institute. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, like
yeah.
Phoenix University of Phoenix.
It's like Phoenix. It's basically the only website that pops up when you Google college near me. It's just Rutgers because they're everywhere.
Oh, like
For some
Webster
reason.
University.
Mm-hmm.
Webster University.
Like WebMD.
WebMD University.
Okay.
Anyway,
so you went to
this
Rutgers
fella,
and you got this degree.
So this fella was like, I'm growing concerned. Do you actually, did an institution of higher learning grant you a degree is what he wanted to know. And I responded that I understand why you would be concerned given that I danced around a park wearing a dress. So I can understand why you would think that about me. So I'm not offended. Yeah. I figured
What did you say? Did you
worst
respond?
thing. No, that's exactly what I said. I said that. The absolute last thing I was going to do was tell him that I have a master's degree in theology, because that would sound like I need to defend myself, you know?
Right.
And I don't need to defend myself.
The most important thing about getting a master's is never letting anybody
never
know that you got
talking
a
about it.
master's.
Yeah. No.
You have to. You have to avoid at all costs. And especially now that we are a known quantity.
Oh, yeah.
It would be social suicide. You might as well join the band. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. It's
you
like,
might as well play the clarinet.
Mm-hmm.
People with master's degrees are the adult equivalent of clarinet players, and I will say that now.
I will
live
say
on
that
the
right.
show.
Yeah,
It's like, what's in that little case that you're carrying around? What's it? What is that?
Nothing.
Oh, that's your master's degree. Oh, okay.
Oh,
and you have to
cool,
lick
cool,
it
cool.
every time before you use it? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
We're going to go over here with the theater kids. So
I've only talked about my degree in one situation, and that's when I'm meeting with people and they ask me if this is what I went. They were like, "What did you go to school for to do what you do?" And I was like, "I have a master's degree in theology." And I say it like a throwaway, but then I immediately follow it up with, "But no debt. That's important. I need you to know that I made a silly life decision, but not a silly financial decision. I got this master's degree because I was bored, and then because I was stressed out and needed to finish it." That's true. That's accurate.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It was 2020. Nothing was going on. I wasn't married yet. I didn't have a
Sure.
kid. I had one
Might
job.
as well incur a couple tens of thousands of dollars in debt.
No, it was
since there's not much happening.
It was free.
Oh, it was free.
Yeah, it was free.
It was just a lot of work.
Yes, exactly. But it was 2020, and I wasn't married. And I didn't have a kid yet, so I didn't know how much work it was going to be. This was in the middle of me reading 100 books in a year, so I was like, "What?
That was crazy.
What's a couple more books?" You know?
Patrick would listen to an audiobook from Cal Newport at 3 times speed and be like, "Oh, read a book today."
How many audiobooks did you listen to when you read 100 books in a year, Ethan?
I don't actually think that me reading more books than you negates my argument that you listening to an audiobook on triple speed does not mean that you properly read the
No,
book.
that's fine. But like, how many audiobooks did you listen to when you read 100 books?
So
in a year?
actually, right. So you're doing an ad hominem attack, and that is
well,
a
no,
logical
it's like, have
fallacy?
you ever read 100 books in a year? That's just curious.
Okay,
Of
touch
any kind,
grass,
of any
eat
kind,
shit.
of any kind. I mean, if you read 100 books of any kind, it could be picture books. Have you ever read 100 books in a year? Oh, you haven't. Okay, got it.
This is
We'll
why.
move
So a lot
on.
of times you ask me why people don't like you, and I think I know the answer.
First of all, I've never asked you that. I know all the reasons because
First
they're all
of
the
all,
reasons I
second
don't
of
like
all-
myself.
Oh dear. Why would you attack me?
What?
It's just it's a simple assertion that listening to an audiobook on 3x speed does not constitute reading a book. That
does.
is my fundamental
It
position.
certainly
No, it
does.
does not.
Yeah, it does.
If you can't pick up a text and thumb through it, or a PDF and swipe and ingest with your eyes, you are not reading.
Incorrect.
You are hearing a book. You are hearing a book.
What? Okay.
Reading is eyes. I will die on this hill. Reading is eyes.
Reading his eyes. That's it. There's
Yes.
no. There's.
Yes.
You think there's no difference between. There's nothing that's like cognitively demanding about listening to a book. Nothing at all.
That, again, you're distorting my argument. I did not say that there's
Okay.
nothing. I said reading is eyes, and you're saying, oh, so listening isn't hard? That's not. It's totally different. I'm just saying it's not reading. You might as well be listening to a podcast.
Then we've written 300 books, Ethan. That's
Damn straight.
That's
the truth.
That's what that
That's
means.
a
That means
book it.
you and I together have written 300 books.
Someone get Bantam on the line and tell them what we've done.
That's a style. Like I had that canned because I've had this conversation a million times. You don't understand. Like someone
Yeah,
was like,
but not with
"That's
me for a
basically
live studio
That's
audience."
basically no different than listening to a podcast." And like then I'm an author
It's not.
300 times,
Yes, and I think yes,
which is
and I
again
think
that
we
would be
should
more
say
impressive
okay.
than reading a book.
Right. It's like you know how the longest book you know what the longest piece of fiction in history is?
The Communist Manifesto.
No.
Nah, it wasn't funny. Capital.
No.
That's Okay. Nah.
I don't even know what that is.
Marx wrote Capital.
Marx.
Yeah. Famously,
Marx.
that's where the word
Marx
capitalism
Wahlberg?
comes from. Capitalism comes from people who follow Marx's capital. That's the
I'm going to say it one more time to make sure you hear me. Marx Wahlberg.
Marx. Make sure you stay prayed up.
Yeah, I did see that. So you don't know what the longest work of fiction ever to be written is.
No.
It is a Super Smash Brothers fan fiction that has, I think, something upwards of like 30 million words.
That's
It's
insane.
just been, yeah, it's crazy. It's like in the Guinness Book of World Records is the longest thing. So
The
my
longest
argument is
thing.
that what we've been doing is we're doing that. It's just kind of audio
Times a
vomit.
million.
Yeah. So it's like if that is considered fiction, what we're doing ought to be considered literature.
I agree.
You know.
Either
It's sound.
It's the what's the opposite of a zugzwang?
Ooh, is this in a Dr. Seuss book? Am I
No.
going to find this if I crack open, walk it in my pocket? Am I going to find the answer?
A Zwingli, whatever it is, in chess when it's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
The opposite of Zwingli is orthodoxy and truth. I'm saying.
It's like, what's the thing in chess where it's like if you would rather pass but you have to make a move, so like it's like a catch-22. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Like regardless of what
Losing?
move you
Checkmate?
make. No, it's not checkmate. It's a step before checkmate. So like you're not in check, but you have to move, and whatever move you do, you have two legal moves, but whichever move you choose, you're gonna get checkmated on the next turn. So you can't do anything about it. A
The
zugzwang.
term for
Look it up.
Is it? How do you spell it? Zug.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Zugwang. Zugzwang, a situation in which the obligation to make a move in one's turn is a serious, often decisive disadvantage. It is impossible to checkmate if your pieces are in Zugzwang, since that would contradict the meaning of the word Zugzwang. You are not in Zugzwang if you can win the game the next move. Okay.
Mark Zugzwang.
Mark Zugzwang versus Elon
Munsk.
Elon Munsk.
I'm sorry I was mean to you about the book thing, Ethan.
I forgive you. I really meant no ill will.
I know.
Was just
I didn't
trying
either.
to do a comedy podcast.
I know. I was doing a comedy bit too. It was fun.
Yeah,
People don't like when I get combative. They like combative. They like combative. People don't like when the people don't like when I get combative. They like when you
What do
get
you mean?
combative.
Why did they like it when I get combative but not you? That
I
seems a
think
little
because
racist.
you can. I think because you. When you get combative, you
Oh, so it's not okay for the Italian to get a little upset. It's not okay.
It's not okay for the guy with the gold chain. The
But
guy
when
from
the,
Long
but when the
Island.
German, gets, you know, like then it's okay. I have some questions about the audience.
I think it's because you have the capability of emotionally removing yourself from a situation.
I do.
I get emotionally invested in the situation.
Yeah.
This is
you
why we
do.
compliment each other. So I need to
I
stay
know,
level-headed.
It's so funny to me because in terms of like, I think we're both smart in different ways, right?
Sure,
I
you're
think in
street
terms of-
smart. I'm book smart.
You're book smart and I am street smart. This is why I feel safe traveling internationally with you. Because you'll be like, don't eat that mushroom. It'll kill you. And I'll be like, Patrick, that guy's trying to rob you right now. And then we'll work together. But I think you have good you can build an argument, right? You can't write a book if you're not able to logically string thoughts together.
Yeah.
And so it's surprising to me that immediately when we enter into anything like that, you instantly go, you're bad. You're just an ugly guy over there. I don't like him. And he's Eurotrash and he's not successful. And I have more views on Instagram than he does. That's what you do.
Yeah.
It's really funny to me that happens. I think it's because I was a policy debater for 4 years in high school. That really helps. Because if you can't, because one of the things that you did in debate is you had to do the cross-examination, kind of like in law.
Yeah.
But the way that you would do it is, I don't know if you ever went to a debate round or anything in high school, but the way that you would do it is...
Well, I mean, lunch.
Right. But in a formalized like debate tournament.
Sure.
So there's 4 players and the affirmative team and the negative team. And the affirmative team gives their first speech and it's like, here's our plan to solve the resolution. You know, here's what we're going to do. And then the negative team comes up and they get to cross-examine the affirmative speaker. And then it goes back and forth. But when you're cross-examining, you have to stand shoulder to shoulder facing the same direction. So you're not looking at each other.
Oh.
You're looking at the judge.
Weird.
Which is, I think, an intentional move by the people who designed high school debate to make it so that it doesn't get too emotional. You know
and
what I'm
personal,
saying?
yeah.
Right. And so it's like the fact that I so many times had to ask people questions and like try to dig into their arguments and understand more deeply, like, and try to poke holes in their arguments without being like, so you said this and that's stupid, because I was looking into the eyes of an adult while I was doing it.
That's smart.
You know?
Yeah, that's wise.
I think that helped me. And then on the flip side, when someone's grilling you, you have to stay calm, because if you lose your composure, then you lose points, you know? So you have to like both grill and be grilled in a professional way.
Interesting. That would have been interesting for me. I wish I had gone through that in high school because I went through the opposite kind of formation.
Yeah, you did theater.
Where I was told to look into the eyes of my peers and do whatever I could to elicit an emotional, and it worked, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're the GOAT.
I proudest moment of my high school career, I was walking down the hallway and these two girls I'd never met in my entire life were having a conversation where they're like, who are you voting for most likely to be famous? And one of them was like, Patrick Nevy, of course.
Huge.
And I didn't
even know it was you.
They didn't even know they didn't know I was there. They didn't know I was there, but they were walking past. And anyway.
Is there anyone at your high school that's more famous than you right now?
Maybe from my high school at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Probably. My high school's been around for like 50 years.
I'm always going to lose this because there's a guy in my class who is in the NFL right now.
Oh,
so I don't think, I think I'm always going to be like,
the Ludwig,
at least in the city of Indianapolis, I'm never going to be more famous than Braden Smith. You know, like he's always going to be the guy.
The Ludwig thing where one of his classmates just so happens to be a ridiculously famous faceless YouTuber is so funny. Mm-hmm. That's so really funny.
He passed him in subscribers finally, though.
Oh, really? That's good for him. Yeah. I'm happy for him. But yeah, I think
we were all rooting for him.
In terms of Instagram subscribers or Instagram followers, I'm definitely number one. I don't know if that's true. But
you don't know what. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah, no, I know what you're thinking, but yeah, correct.
You just never know.
You never know.
You never know. There's a Tahoe driving down my street slowly. Am I about to be taken by the fence? Is this it for me?
They heard about it.
He's gone.
Oh, where was it? Oh, yes. So the opposite formation when it came to debate was I was staring face to face with a guy that believed the opposite of everything of me. And I got to look at him and be like, you're an idiot. And we would go back and forth of you're an idiot. And then he would say, you're racist. And I would say, that's silly. Or like, you're homophobic. And I'm like, that's just a silly thing to say. Right. So I'm just trying to describe like this belief that I have. And it's just like, it would go back and forth. I would call him an idiot and he'd call me an idiot. And then all of our friends would be like, oh, we just want to eat, man. Like, you guys got to stop.
You guys are ruining this cheese pizza where the cheese has coagulated into one crust that I could separate from the bread and eat as like a chip. You know, you're ruining this experience that I'm having right now.
You guys are ruining our chocolate milk that we were all given for free for some reason as children.
That's crazy.
Isn't it? Do you think about this? Because I think about this often. Is that at school, milk was free and you had to pay for water.
That's insane.
That's weird, right?
We had a lot of. Did they sell Propel at your school?
Yeah. What's the hold that Propel has on this public school system?
I don't know what's going on with Propel, but for whatever reason, my brother, my middle brother, got in a lot of heat with my parents because he would come home from school and he would have like a ton of charges on his lunch account. And they'd be like, what have you been buying? And he's like, Propel. It's like, then why are you buying? My dad, it broke his brain. He's like, are there water fountains in the lunchroom? He's like, yeah. He's like, do you know how to use them? He's like, yeah. He goes, then why are you paying for bottled water?
It's flavored. You don't understand.
That costs like an extra $2.
It's crazy. Day. It's crazy. Yeah.
Insane. So we had a lot of groundings that were Propel. I will say.
That's really funny.
In the Stevie household.
I'm not gonna lie. I had a big Propel phase.
Yeah.
I was super into it. I was which
one was your? Did you go to the green bottle or the purple bottle?
I think I did the purple bottle. I'm not sure. I just love the little twisty top.
Ooh.
Yeah, man, that was great. You could
can you even get Propel at like a store?
I think they discontinued it after it gave too many people superpowers.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I had a huge Propel phase. Yeah, giving it the absolute racket that the school lunchrooms ran by allowing parents to like sign up and link their credit card to their kid's student ID, and just you type in the student ID and get whatever you want. You're not listening and you're looking up Propel, huh?
The Propel Wikipedia page is quite barren, I will say. Not much data. They are owned by PepsiCo. That's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyway, nothing. To
They're
report.
related to
Continue.
Gatorade, I believe. Anyway,
Yeah, it's like a Gatorade. It's supposed to be like an antioxidant sports drink. Whatever. I get all
can't
my
believe
antioxidants from the sun.
I can't believe they allowed a system where you could just hook up your credit card to your kid's student ID and just.
And they could just go.
They just
and
go
they could just
whatever.
Get cookies. Cookies were 30 cents. When I
That's
was in middle
crazy.
school.
That's crazy.
So you could, in theory, get 3 cookies every day, less than $1.
It's wild.
That guarantee you that does not happen. And those cookies were fresh. I don't
They
know
were
if you had these,
good.
but they were good, and they were
Yeah.
each in like little
Oh,
plastic
we all had
bags.
the same food.
Oh,
I don't
we all
know
had the
what
same food.
happened, but everybody had
Michelle
the same food.
Obama.
Michelle Obama happened, and we all had the same pretzels, the same milk,
Yeah.
the same square pizza with the chip cheese, refried beans.
The little cubes of pepperoni and like
Yeah.
the boat pizza. Did you have that?
Uh-huh.
Dude, what was that?
I don't know.
That was just like a bowl for tomato soup,
Mm-hmm.
and then they just popped little cubes of pepperoni
Yeah.
on top of it. And
The, like-
sometimes it would be the only option on Fridays during Lent, so I'd have to pick off the little cubes to eat meatless like an animal. Oh,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
hamburgers were like also
Yeah,
in
they,
bags.
like-
Why was everything in bags?
I don't know.
Oh man. One thing I do remember when I was in elementary school, so this is back in the Bush era. You know, back in the good old days when you could have 2% milk at school. But
Michelle
for-
Obama era, we still got chocolate milk.
for
Maybe
some
that.
reason,
Yeah, I don't know.
when I was that age, because I think just when you're 8, you're an idiot. I really believed that if you got the chocolate milk and you got the grape juice, because we could get one of each, right?
Mhm.
So I got the milk and I got the juice. If you did 2 straws and you drank the chocolate milk and the grape juice at the same time, that it would somehow taste like root beer. So I did that every day, trying to like meme myself into thinking that I was drinking root beer. And I like try to get all my friends to do it, but none of them would do it. And I'd be like, guys, come on, it tastes like root beer. It never did.
That's
I did
disgusting.
that for like probably a whole year of school, like just over and over again.
I'm picturing you as an 8-year-old.
Oh, I was the worst.
That's really funny.
Oh,
You've got just an oversized Spider-Man backpack, and you just like socks hiked up
Yeah.
to the calves before it was cool.
Oh yeah, glasses. I
Yeah,
was on the chess team.
nice,
Oh,
dude.
it was
Square,
yeah, I
like
know.
yeah.
I was too young to be on the chess team because it was supposed to be only like 4th grade and up. But I learned how to play chess when I was 6, and so my mom like had to ask like, "Hey, can Ethan be on the chess team? He needs something to do. Like, please, please give him something." And I did it till I was in 8th grade, so it was a good thing.
That's
It was
fun.
a good move.
That's fun.
But
Did you get bullied out of it? That's one of the reasons why I left Boy Scouts, was because I found out it was uncool to be in Boy Scouts. So I was like, I'm gonna be out of here.
nah, I never got bullied out of it because there were enough kids in it that were cool. So like some of the soccer guys were in it and they played chess,
yeah.
and like some of the cool girls were in it and they played chess. So it was before that the social circles had really developed, you know,
Yeah, fair
in, like,
enough,
in a
yeah.
sort of meaningful way. Where because you're like 9 or 10, it's just like, oh yeah, I'll join the chess club. I don't know.
I don't care.
It was, but I definitely did not, how do you say, fit in with a lot of the other cats on the chess
Sure.
team. So like when we went to the national tournaments and they were all like listening to, ironically enough, Barbie Girl. I remember
Really?
this. I remember being at like a national tournament. I didn't have an iPod. I didn't have a cell phone. I was just so like not the same as these kids. You know what I mean? Like my mom was there with me the whole time. Like these kids would run around the hotel all on their own. Just like different parenting styles.
Yeah.
So like my mom would be like, "Why don't you go play with them?" I'd be like, "I don't. We might as well be from another nation." And
Yeah.
like trying to explain that to your mom
Mhm.
when you're 9 is like, it's impossible.
You don't understand. Like they have a DS,
Right.
and I don't.
And I don't. They are all playing Nintendogs right now.
Right now, and I don't.
If I walked over there with my Game Boy SP and said, "Hey, do you guys want to watch me play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?" They would all laugh at me. But that's my only option at this point. And of course, moms don't get that.
No, they don't understand. They don't get it. Yeah,
So,
it was wild. I've told you the story before where like I I was very unaware or like uncaring about like wealth gaps in shiny toys. Like someone having the new iPhone and I have the old one has never really bothered me, you know, and this was true even back in the day when
Yes.
my cousin Chris gave me his Game Boy Color. And I
Really?
yeah.
You still have it? You're about to pull it out.
I think it's somewhere in here.
No
Yep.
chance.
Yep.
Holy cow. Ladies and gentlemen.
So my cousin Chris gave me this Game Boy Color.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Does it still work?
I'm
That thing
sure,
could survive.
I'm sure it does. I'm sure it
blast.
doesn't have any batteries in it right now. But
Okay.
yeah, like it still works. We kept it in pretty good condition. But yeah,
You
man,
could probably
I
sell that for a pretty penny if you
probably
wanted to.
not. It's not in like it's not like
Ooh.
clean, you know. It's like, but also I don't want
Yeah.
to, you know. It's like, you know,
Yeah, right. It's cool.
it's
That's
kind of
why I have
retro
a-
and
I have. Speaking of retro tech, I've also got something here in my room.
oh yeah,
Look at this. Look at this bad boy. We've been talking about since we moved. We've been talking about all the stuff we want to get rid of, but I'm not getting
Yeah.
rid of this guy.
oh my gosh,
I'm
your
not-
iPod.
I got an iPod Nano, 2 gigabytes
Dude,
of storage.
I
don't have
wanted
any
one
way
of
to
those
charge this
so
thing.
bad.
But this thing is so freaking cool. Like
Those
there
were
is
so
nothing,
cool.
There's nothing like this anymore.
No.
You know, like I wish that they still made. Like imagine this with like the storage that your phone now has, like 128 gigabytes,
Which
or
is
whatever.
totally possible. I have something that
Yeah.
big that has like 500
You'd
gigabytes.
feel,
So,
you'd feel like a king. But like the buttons still work. You can hear it click. It's still tactile.
Ooh,
like man,
yeah.
it's just gosh. I don't know. I gotta figure out how to turn this thing back on.
American
Maybe I'll bring this
manufacturing.
on the pilgrimage. Who knows?
But yeah, so I took this to soccer one day,
Yeah.
and I was just playing it.
Yes.
I had Pokemon Red, and I was playing that, and I was just playing it, and one of the kids was like, "You still have that one?" And I was like, "Yeah," and he was like, "I have this one," and I was like, "Yeah, this is the one that I have," and I just like was unaware that he was flexing on me, and
Right. And
I
then you were like,
remember-
"How many books did you read this year?
yeah,
How many audiobooks did you read this year, dude?
unironically, I was like, "How many?
How many Pokemon do you have in your Pokédex?
Have you read the?
16? Okay.
Ooh, rough.
Cringe.
F. Yeah, so it's you can talk to me when you're on my level. Then we can have a conversation. So the what was it called? Oh yeah, there's this kid in my class, Jonathan. Jonathan, if you're listening. He was one of those kids who was like, you don't know what we're talking about. You know those kids?
Yes.
You know that you don't know what we're like he will not let you be like a part of it, like regardless,
Yes.
you know.
Yes. This was me
I-
when kids would talk about the NBA when I was young, because I didn't know anything about the NBA when I was a kid.
Oh, and so they would like point out that you didn't know, and they would make fun of
Like
you.
I would try to contribute, and they would be like, "You don't know about this." I'd be like, "How do you?" First
How
of
do
all,
you
how do you
know?
know that?
How do
Second
you
of
know that?
all, you're right, and I'm never gonna
Yeah.
recover from this.
And so I was telling them that I played Pokemon. They were like, "Oh, Fire Red," and I was like, "Yeah, I play Pokemon Red." I just was like, "Oh yeah, they're calling it something different." I was completely unaware, and they were like, "You don't have that. You don't have Pokemon Fire Red. You don't know." And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And they were like, "What Pokemon's on the front?" And I was like, "Charizard," which is a dumb question because Charizard is red. So like,
Yes.
it's a dumb question. But they were like, oh, okay, yeah, you do know. That's cool. And they wouldn't have had a conversation without me. Oh, another funny instance. Finding Nemo was coming out. This is like burned in
Okay.
my memory. And my
Right.
my
a movie
grandma,
for rich kids only.
I guess. And my grandma had this movie that was like Nemo Goes to Dreamland or something. So if you look it up if you've ever seen it. I don't know, but like they were talking.
Dreamland.
What?
Little Nemo Adventures in Slumberland,
Yeah.
and it's got this little boy that looks dressed like Napoleon and some type of blackface adjacent creature.
Oh, interesting.
Is that? Are we? I'm going to share my screen with you.
Oh, that's not
Are you talking about-
adjacent. That's not adjacent. Holy cow.
I wanted to be kind to the Little Nemo Adventures in Slumberland team, but yeah, they did. That doesn't look. Because it's
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's
it's pretty bad.
that's not even kind of adjacent. That just is.
It
That's
just is
crazy.
blackface. Yeah.
That's funny. Where's the Wikipedia page? I want to describe this to you. Little Nemo is a fictional character. He originated
He
in a
goes to
comic strip.
Slumberland, and he has adventures and befriends the king of Slumberland, Morpheus. Oh, he just meets Lawrence Fishburne in the dream. But one night, Nemo discovers Nightmare Land and the evil Nightmare King, throwing Slumberland and Nemo himself into danger. This sounds cool. This sounds like something I could get into.
I heard it was pretty cool. I think it's Japanese originally.
It does look a little Japanese to me.
Yeah, it's Japanese, so they don't have the same. They're not like, this is blackface.
It looks
is
like
bad.
it's made in Japan in the Western style, I will say.
Yes, because I didn't notice it as a Japanese thing when I was a kid, but yeah, it was an English dub of a Japanese movie apparently. Anyway, so it was called Little Nemo Adventures in Slumberland, and so that movie came out in the U.S. in 1992, and so apparently we watched it. Like we watched this movie at Grandma's house, right?
We should do a commentary track on Little Nemo Adventures.
I'm actually totally down. We should
that would be super fun.
We should pull obscure movies from our childhood. That's great.
Yeah.
And then
we should do The Trumpet of the Swan after that.
Great. I read all of E.B. White's books when I was a kid. I loved E.B. White.
Really?
Charlotte's Web, Trumpet of the Swan, and then what was the other one? There's another one. Come on. There's got to be another one.
Catcher in the Rye?
Yes.
Okay.
E.B. White wrote he wrote Charlotte's Web, The Trumpet of the Swan, and Is Sex Necessary? 1929.
You know, sometimes you got to finish the trilogy, even if people don't want you to.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so
you were talking to kids
Adventure.
in 2001.
In 2001, when Finding Nemo came out, they were talking about how they were going to go see it. I was like, Nemo? My grandma has that movie.
That's so crazy.
And they rightly said, no, she doesn't.
No, she doesn't. My grandma works at Pixar.
And I adamantly said, yeah, she does. Yeah. Obviously, it came out in 1992, before we were born.
Right.
And
but it makes you think how many times kids say things like, "Oh, my dad showed me that," or like, "My dad has that," when it's really just a massive misunderstanding. And the kid has no clue.
Yeah. It was funny. It was funny because I was like, yeah, Jonathan, you were right on both counts. I didn't have Pokemon Fire Red, and I didn't have Finding Nemo on VHS, but that gave you no right to exclude me.
Like Taylor Sheffield in 6th grade, she was like, "My uncle works at Fear Factor." I bet he just worked at a factory. You know, like I bet she had no idea.
Her uncle is Joe Rogan.
Dude, if that's true, I don't think that's
Can
true.
she get us on the show?
No.
We should do like a Joe Rogan deep fake where we're sitting on the other side of the table. He made it so easy to fake the other side of his table. He shouldn't have done that.
He really did. I think it'd be funny if we did it very obviously that we are just like the top halves of our body are just photoshopped in, and we don't even like crop out the guest that we're taking the footage from.
We got to do the Alex Jones
our
one,
bodies,
you know?
Yeah. It's like my body on top of Tim Dillon and your body on top of Alex Jones. And like their limbs stay still and like our limbs are moving, and so you can see them behind us. It would be really funny.
Ooh, yeah, that's good.
Man. Yeah, we have good ideas sometimes.
I agree.
Not a lot, though.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think we're very funny, and more people should give us money on patreon.com/thecrunch.
Wow.
Did you see that after your wife's impassioned plea on the Discord that someone did join Patreon?
I did see that. Yeah. We should
kind.
shout that person out by name. I'm going to do that right now because when you join at patreon.com/thecrunch at the $10 a month and up level, you get a bonus show that comes out every Friday, which this last week, we do need to talk about this. Alex Peterson, thank you so much for joining. We really appreciate it. I'm glad that you're here. Thank you for listening. It means a lot to us because we're really trying to grow something here, and we need your help to keep it going.
Indeed.
But last week, because you were out of town at Catholic again, the struggles of traveling. Oh, it's so hard. Ooh,
no, this time it was great.
This time it was easy, no delays. But because you were gone, I did a little solo
cast.
I
saw that.
And I asked the patrons, I said, hey, do you have any questions for me? And they submitted a bunch of questions. And I was so low energy because Peter's been sleeping terribly the last couple of weeks. More terribly than normal. Like, he's always slept bad, but it's been like...
Oh, jeez, really?
Yeah. He was better, a little bit better last night, but we've had a run of really rough times because we're just in a new house and we're trying to figure out like the best way to do it. And he like is doing a lot of developmental leaps. So he's like, in the span of 2 weeks, he started crawling and then he started pulling himself up on things. And so he's just way more mobile now than he was before. So like the last sleeping situation had to change and he had a sleep regression. Anyway, he's a great kid. I love him so much.
Sleep regressions happen during the big mobility shifts. That's what I've been told. So,
and that is what we're experiencing. But what I did is I played Fortnite for like an hour and I answered people's questions and like played the game and kind of commentated on my gameplay and then answered questions while I was playing. It was really fun. And a few people said that they really enjoyed it. So I think people should join and then maybe we'll do more cool stuff like that. It's kind of like what we did on Twitch, but except there's no lag.
I have the perfect setup now. I can just play on Sean's computer. He has all the games. Whatever game you want, I can play it.
Dude, play me in Fortnite right now.
Do you want me to play Genshin Impact? Because I can play that.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what it is either.
Sometimes Twitter suggests tweets to me. It's like, you might like Genshin Impact. I'm like, I've never expressed any interest in anything even close to this. So I don't know why you're promoting this to me.
Yeah.
I want to see... the Clinton kill list. That's what I'm interested in. Give me more content about all the people that the Clintons have killed. I don't really care about Genshin Impact. I'm on Twitter because there's a bunch of anonymous accounts on there that have access to classified information or are Bulgarian bodybuilders. That's why I'm on Twitter. I don't want to know about any women.
You can never get me to join threads, okay?
I don't want to know about any anime, anything. I want to know about the truth. Give me the conspiracies.
I don't want to watch a children's cartoon anymore, unless it's Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Speaking of Twitter, this could be a little topic to round out the show.
Ooh.
A lot of people have been posting recently, what with Pope Francis appointing a bunch of cardinals and it's kind of the synod delegates being announced and different things like the guy who wrote the "Kiss Me with Your Mouth" book. Did you see that?
How else would you kiss someone?
Yeah, this cardinal wrote a book called "The Art of Kissing. Heal Me with Your Mouth," I think is the title of the book. And it's like this reflection on kissing. And anyway, so like a lot of people are like, and he's the guy that's taking over.
He was like
the dicastery for the doctrine.
You don't understand. It was a mistranslation. I wrote it to help teenagers. Hold on. What? To who? Hold on. Go back. Roll it. To help you wrote this book for teenagers. Hey man, teenagers shouldn't be kissing nothing except their mothers on the cheeks. Say goodbye, I'm going to school. Yes.
Whoa. That's true. I think kids these days are kissing too much, I will say. They need to be playing their video games and not looking at each other, but instead. But ever since this COVID pandemic got over, these kids are getting out there and they're getting jobs and they're making out behind the restaurants. You know, it's disgusting.
You can't go behind a restaurant anymore.
Get back on Zoom and pull yourself up by your bootstraps like the rest of us. You know, I don't know. I love doing that. I love taking the affectation of a conservative and applying liberal talking points. It's really funny. People don't know what to do with it. So on Twitter, there's a lot of stuff going on. And there's a lot of stuff going on about like the world and like the politics and the Trump and the Biden and the different things. And there's an argument that's going on that's saying you don't need to know what's happening in the Vatican. You know, it's not important.
No.
All we need to know is the name of the Pope. All we need to know is the name of the president. These big global national things are of no importance to you. I think the important thing is that we just evangelize and we just don't need to be thinking about all this inside baseball stuff and we just need to get out there. And then there's people that are saying... Then there are people coming back and they're saying, no, it is important that we know what's going on so we can prepare our families and prepare our communities and prepare our children for like the things that are coming up and that they're going to have to deal with in 10, 20 years. And if I just poke my head in the sand and I don't know what's going on and I just kind of do, then I'm going to be caught off guard. I don't want to be caught off guard. I don't want my kids to be caught off guard.
I can sympathize with that too.
Right. So there's just a lot of talk going on by a lot of people that are very smart and correct. And I wanted to hear what your take is on all of that, because it seems to be a common refrain recently on the old Twitter.
Somewhere in the middle.
No.
No,
pick a side, coward.
If honestly, if we're gonna pick a side, I'm going to the side of you just shouldn't care. That's the side that I'm gonna go towards, because it's like there's people out there that just want your money, right? And so like they're going to they need to find things that are salacious and interesting to the most amount of people. And so they're just going to go to the national. It's palace intrigue. It's always been the case. It's always going to be around. We just want to know. We want to know what the leaders are doing. We want to know their lurid details of their lives.
Lurid.
We want to hear about them. We want to learn about Cleopatra and Marie Antoinette. We want to learn about rich people who had sex. That's what we want.
Did Cleopatra and Marie Antoinette have a torrid affair?
Famously.
Really?
Separated by time, but not by love.
They wrote, Cleopatra wrote into the future, to the French lesbian that reads this, please know that I'm thinking of you.
And the mailman in France was like, you're going to have to be more specific.
There's too many to count. How are we going to find the one? I'm going to read Father Harrison's
just hatcheting through a bunch of armpit hair to find the Paris lesbian. What?
At this time, me and my team have decided not to comment. Father Harrison says, I am more and more convinced we give too much energy and attention to things we cannot control, especially with church news. Guess what? You can't do anything about what is going on in Rome, etc. If it is outside your sphere of influence, why give it so much energy and attention? Being informed is good, but the fact is what happens in Rome or wherever rarely has any real impact at home. Put your energy in your sphere of influence. But we tend to do the opposite. Put our energy on the things we cannot change and ignore the things where we can change.
I agree.
Eileen, I agree generally, but I also disagree. Because, and maybe this is me being more inclined to my own preferences, but to me, when I hear about stuff that's going on, it's like, wow, I'm glad that I know this. Because it's like saying, like that attitude to me is like saying, oh, like if you think back in like 1964, right? Vatican II. Don't worry about what's going on in Rome. It's not going to affect you.
But it is. It is going to affect you.
It did. It 100% did.
Yeah.
So like, oh, don't worry about what's going on in the White House. It's not going to affect you, And then like, you get shot because there's a protest going on, because Trump is elected or what, for random example. I don't have anything concrete, but there's things like that happen. And so like to say that these big national or global events don't matter because they're not in your sphere of influence is just not true, because the world is a global village.
Yeah. I don't think that's really like the takeaway. I think that
it literally is. It says don't put energy towards things that are outside your sphere of influence.
Yeah, but knowing about something is not putting energy towards it, I think the thing that he's criticizing is not the knowing of the thing, but the constant worry and incessant bickering about the thing.
I agree with the bickering. I think
the knowledge about the
knowing
thing.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
The knowledge about the thing is fine. I think that's why like I think the pillar is good. It's like, oh, here, we want to know what's going on in Rome. There you go. Here's what's happening. And it's like you can draw your own opinions and be like, well, that's crazy. But, it's like we don't need to spend too much time worrying about it. Like the synod on synodality is not the end of time, even though it can be silly at times.
Here's what I think.
Yeah, sorry. Good.
You're standing in the road and a car's coming towards you, and you have knowledge of that car coming towards you.
That's important.
But you can't just be like, all right. Like you have to take some kind of action because of the knowledge.
Yeah.
Conversely, I think if you propose the alternative,
your actions are in the sphere of influence, though. Like that's kind of a
sure. Yeah. But conversely, if you flip it around and you look away from the car, then all of a sudden it's like you have no knowledge and you don't know like where to operate your sphere of influence. You see what I mean? And so it's like if I see the truck coming at me and it's 50 Let's say that's a football length away, right? It's 100 yards away from me. I see it. I apprehend it. I have plenty of time to move out of the way, right? Even though what's driving I can't stop the truck. I can't do anything about the truck, but I can move. But if I turn the other way and I don't know that the truck is coming, then it hits me and I die because I never had a chance to exert my sphere of influence based on the knowledge that I'm seeing from the thing. And then we can no longer podcast. And so that's what I think is like, okay, if I know that there's going to be a priest shortage, if I know that there's going to be continued disagreements about liturgy, if I know that there's going to be confusion about doctrine, specifically around transgenderism and gay marriage and blessing same-sex couples and those types of, if I know that that's what's in the pipeline, then I can take action now to prepare my community and my family and my local parish for those things. But if I don't know those things, then they might hit me without being aware.
Yeah, I think that's I think that's a good road to take, because it's because as long as you're taking that action, I think the issue that I see a lot on the internet is that maybe if we post enough, it'll change, or we get to be black-pilled together.
We've written 350 books.
It's true.
So
who knows? Our sphere of influence goes all the way to the top. Pope Francis is our number one patron.
We did get an imprimatur almost once.
Almost. A censor laborum. A bunch of people in Japan, the ones who worked on Nemo's Adventure in Slumberland, listened to our podcast and said, not enough blackface. Gotta have more of that. Not enough tangential.
It'd be crazy if we pulled off blackface on an audio podcast. It'd just be insane. We'd be the most racist people in the history of the planet to do a visual racism auditorily.
My wife and I did a charcoal mask once, and I found a picture of it on my iPhone, and I was like, let's just delete that. Just in case
I ever run for office, I just don't need this getting out. Well, I don't really have much else to add. I just wanted to kind of address that because I had seen it a lot.
Yeah, no, it's good. I think that applies to church news and national news. It's like, you need to know that there's an embargo on Russian oil because gas prices are going to go up. So you can do something to mitigate that, You can lower the price of gas at your gas station so there's constantly a traffic backup on the corner of Main and 2nd and Main. I'm not going to say where I live, but there's a gas station around the corner from my house that is it's
on 2nd
consistently $1 a gallon cheaper. Now, that's crazy. However, most people buy about 10 gallons of gas, so you're saving effectively $10 to sit in a really long line.
Who's buying 10 gallons of gas? I guess my tanks are huge.
Your gas tank is
my gas tank's
gallons,
18
right?
gallons.
Yeah.
Well, 18 is not close to 10.
Well, you don't go get it when you're empty, right?
I do.
Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah.
I wait until the line is parallel with the ground before I go and get gas.
What's the level of savings on gas that you need to have to go out of your way to a different gas station?
If it is more than 10 cents cheaper, I would go out of my way.
Yeah, okay. So you're like I need to save $2 and I'll drive an extra couple minutes to get that gas.
It's the principle of the thing.
And then you go in and buy somewhere.
There's no way it's all coming to Oklahoma City, right? It's there's no way that it should be more expensive here. It's a principle thing. It's it's on this corner versus it's on this corner. Same company, same gas station, different price. I'm going to the one with the lower price. Not because I need to save the $2, but because I need to let them know with my money that gas should be this price, not this price.
Gas should be.
If you can make it this, it needs to be this.
You're in America's heartland. All right, I'm on the coast.
I am.
Okay, so gas is a little more pricey over here. It's nowhere near where it is in Chicago or New York or California. But for our national listeners on the C-ball boards, Ethan, how much is gas in Oklahoma right now?
I paid $2.89.
Oh my gosh, you said 2. It started with 2. Holy cow.
Yeah, we got good tax.
That's ridiculous.
Man.
That's ridiculous.
There's a lot of state, because it's an oil state, so there's a lot of friendly laws and such when it comes to the regulations.
That's ridiculous. Well, Move to Oklahoma, I guess. So does that mean that means that back when it was $2.50 in Pennsylvania, it was like $1 down there?
They're
That's
like
nuts.
$1.19. Yeah, it was crazy
Filling up your
cheap.
tank for $20.
Yeah,
Take me back. Remember when they were?
Those were the
Remember they were
days.
like throwing it away during
they
COVID.
were just tossing gas onto the streets.
And they're
lighting
just giving away
homeless people on
cars.
fire.
It was crazy.
It was a wild time. We got to get to the dating podcast because
Yeah, man.
we can't stay up all night.
No.
Every Wednesday we do a dating show where we answer our Instagram followers dating questions. We answer the questions of the people that write into us on Discord at bit.ly/crunch discord. So if you have a dating question, you can DM us at the Crunchcast on Instagram, or if you're in our Discord community, bit.ly/crunch discord, you can post it in the Dating Corner channel, and maybe you'll get some bonus advice from the other friends in the Discord. And how could that be bad? It can't be.
Can't be.
So we're going to go do that. And yeah. Patrick, do you have anything else for the people?
Even one book a year is good. If you read less than me that year, I'm not trying to be mean. Reading is difficult to find time for, and so anything you can do is good for your brain, and I'm proud of you.
He was crossing his fingers the whole time I saw it.
No, I promise. These are my fingers.
Thank you all for listening. Please pray for us. We'll be praying for you. We will see you all next week.